The top stories for the hour. Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Turineh stresses the need to transform educational assessment across Africa. And American professional highlights Ethiopia's potential in sports amid challenge. Hello and a very warm welcome to ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism with Nusam Binyam Gitana. Stick around now, the news in full. Promoting national values, the yeast for building a democratic system must be advanced in Ethiopia, says Deacon Daniel Kibret, Social Affairs Advisor to the Prime Minister, underscored. Deacon Daniel stressed that these values must be brought to forefront of public discourse to foster a sustainable democracy. His remarks came during a discussion forum on the search for Ethiopian democracy, a book authored by Minister Tesfaye Beligye, Chief Whip in the House of People's Representatives. The newly released book has sparked wide-ranging dialogue among experts and senior officials across various sectors. For his part, journalism and communication expert Kamal Hashi commenced the initiative, highlighting the importance of government leaders sharing their experiences and insights. He cited Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's effort as a strong example of this practice following national reforms. The experts added that the book's author underscored the need to apply Ethiopian democracy to all citizens and incorporate local knowledge. Meanwhile, Minister Tesfaye Beligye noted that his book offers a significant contribution to the country's democratic journey, presenting a vision rooted in Ethiopia's unique historical and cultural context. Philosopher and researcher Zariun Teshome supported this view, arguing that past attempts to adopt foreign democratic models have largely failed. He praised the book's focus on indigenous knowledge as a more effective path to democratic development. Meanwhile, Nigeria has extradited Chinese gang leader Da Shishi to Beijing following a coordinated operation with Interpol, marking a significant step in international law enforcement cooperation. Dai, wanted in China for orchestrating violent organized crimes in Gwangju province, fled the country in 2024. He was apprehended in Abuja on August 8, 2025 by operatives from Nigeria's National Central Bureau in collaboration with Chinese authorities. The extradition was finalized on August 15 under a police-to-police cooperation framework facilitated by Interpol. Inspector General of Police Adiole commended the operation, underscoring Nigeria's commitment to combating transitional crime. This operation sends a clear message to criminals worldwide. Nigeria will not be a safe haven for fugitives, he said. The successful extradition highlights the growing international cooperation in addressing transitional crime and underscores Nigeria's role in global law enforcement efforts. It also demonstrates adherence to international legal standards throughout the process. This development follows recent measures by Nigerian authorities to tackle organized crime, including the deportation of 50 Chinese nationals convicted of cybercrime and internet fraud.
Starten wir jedoch direkt hier in der Hauptstadt und geben euch einen Einblick in das Leben in Addis Abeba. Willkommen in Äthiopien.
The Holy Trinity Cathedral Church is the oldest church in Addis Ababa.
The Addis Ababa Light Rail Transit System, the first of its kind in the sub-Saharan Africa, provides
desert land. Even though the land is like super barren, it's still beautiful. It's a long, lengthy journey in between each site, but there is a lot of different kinds of beauty. The volcanic rock, to the desert, to the dry, cracked ground.
ፈገግታ ምሳሌው በጦምቦራ ህብር ሳቴውን ለኩሰን
ያሆዴ ኦ ያሆ እያለች
ኢትዮጵያ ያርዳ ባህር
ያሰብሽው ሳይደርስ ጓዳሽ ሳይለማ ያደጋ ዜማ ከኢትዮጵያ ማዘን ፍቅሬ እንደጠበል ሲፈልቅ ያለምስ ድሪያ ይበል ያሰብሽው ሳይደርስ ጓዳሽ ሳይለማ ያደጋ ዜማ ኖርሻ ይስማ ከኢትዮጵያ ማዘን ፍቅሬ እንደጠበል
Very warm welcome once again on ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. As the news continues, Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Turene says transforming educational assessment is key to advancing education system across Africa. The 41st annual conference of the Association for Educational Assessment in Africa commenced in the capital Addis Ababa, bringing together educational experts, policy makers and researchers from Africa and beyond. On the occasion, a common continental assessment framework was launched meant to foster regional collaboration in educational assessment and evaluation in the continent. Shagoy Matau has more on this.
The 41st annual conference of the Association for Educational Assessment in Africa is kicked off today in Addis Ababa, bringing together over 500 delegates from over 30 countries. Being held under the theme Transforming Educational Assessment Towards Quality Learning and Informed Decision-Making, the conference was attended by high-level Ethiopian officials, educational experts, policymakers and researchers from Africa and beyond. Opening the conference, Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Turene said that the legacy of freedom found in the victory of Adwa must guide the education sector. He noted that transforming educational assessment is vital to achieve prosperity of the continent, highlighting Ethiopia's endeavor in this regard.
Ethiopia and many African nations are carrying forward bold reforms. We are raising the standard of education for every learner. This conference is a place to share our best practices, our research, our innovations, and it is a place to transform ideas into progress. Our path in educational assessment has been steady and deliberate. We have sought fairness, we have sought relevance, we have sought systems that reflect not only what learners know, but what they can do. But now we face a large task, the call for a common continental assessment framework. Such a framework would be a bridge. It would bring coherence across our nations. It would ease mobility for learners and educators.
Minister of Education Birhanu Negga for his part underscored the significant reforms in ensuring equity, equality and accessibility of education to all, noting the reforms in education assessment specifically to ensure integrity.
One of the fundamental changes that we're enacting is in the area of educational assessment. Now, I'm sure you'd find it out of this world if I tell you the passing rate in our college entrance exam was reduced from something like 60% to 3% in 2020. To 3%. It was a bitter pill to swallow. We know we cannot go anywhere without returning the integrity of our educational system. And what educational assessment does is it provides that critical integrity.
Head of Education Division at the African Union Commission, Sophia Shipala, expressed the commitment of the Commission to support African countries in revolutionizing educational assessment system that advances learner competency and problem-solving skills.
The African Union is deeply committed to supporting member states in modernizing, in harmonizing, and innovating education assessment system to respond to the needs of the 21st century. Through the Continental Education Strategy for Africa implementation roadmap, we are actively working with the AU member states, with regional economic communities and strategic partners to advance competency-based and learner-centered assessment models that focus on skills, critical thinking, and problem solving. We are also working to build institutional capacity for data generation, management, and utilization, ensuring that policy decisions are informed by accurate, timely, and disaggregated data.
The 5-day conference brought together education experts, policymakers, and researchers from across Africa and beyond to discuss strategies for enhancing learning outcomes and developing effective assessment practices.
That was Shagoy Mata for the report. In other development, the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands disclosed that Ethiopia has drafted a national irrigation standard and implementation regulation. The draft is unveiled with support from the Food and Agricultural Organization and Addis Ababa University. The standard and regulation draft will help complete irrigation projects on time, close planning gaps, and strengthen the country's capacity to deliver sustainable irrigation development. Goshu Maleso compiled the full story.
Irrigation projects have faced inefficiencies, gaps in feasibility studies and delays, prompting public complaints and the need for stronger planning and oversight. The Ministry of Irrigation and Lowland, in partnership with FAO and Addis Ababa University, unveiled a national standard and regulation for irrigation to ease this problem. Minister of Irrigation and Lowland Abraham Balai underscored lack of proper guidelines on irrigation efficiency and quality has prevented Ethiopia from fully benefiting from the sector.
Building stronger pre-feasibility and feasibility study capacity is vital for making irrigation governance more effective and sustainable. Past gaps in these studies delayed project development, and the new framework is designed to bridge those gaps. The new irrigation standard and regulation will also address quality issues and ensure projects are completed on time. I urge states to strive for the implementation of the project.
The FAO representative in Ethiopia has stressed that irrigated agriculture is vital for the country's food security and climate resilience, but warned that efficient water management is critical to balance competing demands, reaffirming FAO's continued support.
Irrigated agriculture plays a pivotal role in realizing this vision. One of FAO's strategic goals emphasizes sustainable management and utilization of natural resources, including land, water, climate, and biodiversity for the benefit of current and future generations. FAO's offer to work closely with the Ministry of Irrigation and Lowlands, as well as all relevant stakeholders, in going beyond this development of standards and regulations.
For his part, project coordinator Bellet Abrahanu noted that the initiative is designed to tackle the major challenges that have long held back Ethiopia's irrigation sector.
The irrigation sectors has a lot of challenges and problems, and they have not covered well the potential of the country. Again, even the project is very delayed. The cost is and the time is overruns because of different issues. So the major challenge, what was earlier is focused, is one of the things are incomplete studies. The other is also the quality of the studies. So those standards now, which are handed over today, has helpful to avoid such kind of misunderstanding, or what you call it, such kind of gaps in the project implementation. Because when we do that, any irrigation project, that should be qualifiedly designed. Unless the design is well qualified, so it's difficult to implementing to the ground.
The irrigation standard and regulation is expected to implement it in the Ethiopian New Year following their publication and official endorsement, it was learned.